Hi, I'm Matthew from PixelPop Network, and I'm here with Guy Yug Blomberg. Well, I can't even say it.
Well,
He's young. He's Guy Young. Guy Yug Blomberg from. He's the. You're the head. You're the convener.
No, probably the best one is these days the content manager across PAX and also Oz Comic Con. And I like to actually think that means I look after everything that's not the expo floor. So especially in PAX, that's all the panels, the feature areas, the community spaces, all the enforcer volunteers, pretty much everything that's not an exhibitor taking booth space.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That's Yug's job.
Okay.
So one of the first things I wanted to ask you about was over the years. Over the 3-4 years that PAX has been going for.
This will be year number 5.
There you go. So this year, in year number 5, you've been kind of moving the date backwards and forwards a little bit to try and get that sweet spot of where it is that's been good.
Yeah.
You moved it into November last year, and then this year it's a lot earlier compared to.
It's a little bit earlier. It's October 27th to 29th.
All right. And is there a reason for this? Because I know that PAX Unplugged is in November.
Is,
so has this had a influence on why you've chosen this date?
Not so much PAX Unplugged. I mean, Unplugged is its own kind of separate entity over in Philly, and that's an amazing new type of show for us, to be honest, like entirely focused on board games and tabletop games. But for us, finding this sweet spot in the end of October, early November period is very difficult. There's a lot of other conventions globally that happen at the same time. I've got to be very conscious of the Penny Arcade crew coming off PAX West in Seattle, that they're not stretched out to actually work on PAXAus as well. But I'll be honest, the big ones are BlizzCon, League of Legends Worlds, a whole bunch of other stuff that happens at the same time, and Melbourne Cup for us as well in Melbourne, so the ideal one for me is one that doesn't clash with any of those events or any of those dates, but it's very tricky to actually make that happen. But we like those particular dates in Australia because they don't clash with any other show. The weather is actually quite nice in Melbourne around about that time, and it's actually a great excuse with international developers because a lot of them are at the end of their gaming cycle when they've actually been developing them to actually say, I'll tell you what, look, come on down to Oz and take the rest of the week off. Take a bit of a holiday, a well-deserved break. So for a lot of them, they see it as an excuse to come on down. I gotta be honest, a lot of the time when I go over to the States and I try and get developers to come down or gaming industry personalities, I don't need to explain what PAX is. They all know PAX. It's the largest gaming show in North America. For me, I just become a walking, talking Australian tourism advert. G'day, come on down, it's the beach and sunshine, or whatever. But yeah. Right,
okay, so for on the developer and the publisher side, on the industry side, PAX PAX Australia is a holiday for them almost. That's how you're framing it for them.
That's how I phrase it. Thankfully, like with PAXAus, we're actually part of the Melbourne International Games Week. So that means that we've got other events that happen in the lead up to PAX, including GCAP, the Game Developers Asia Pacific Conference, and Unite, the conference around the Unity program and 3D modeling and stuff like that. So we've got a bunch of other industry stuff that lead up to it to also give more excuses for people to come on down to the show.
Okay, so the gaming industry has a really good reason to come to PAX Australia.
Yes,
so what does PAX Australia offer the punters, offer the people who are the regular Joe Blows who are attending? Why would they want to go to PAX Australia, and how does that differ from the PAXs internationally?
All right. See, I guess there's two kinds of people I'm answering that question for. One is the people that have already been to PAXAus, to which I don't need to explain why they should come back to PAX. Yes. And the people that have never been before, it's always a really difficult one because there's this great cultural vibe about PAX which goes beyond just lining up for half an hour to play 5 minutes of the latest game, or goes beyond the idea of I want to see this particular new product, or I want to hang out with this particular company. It's actually being in the presence of tens of thousands of other people that are passionate about the niche stuff that we particularly are in the gaming universe and whatnot, and meet them and actually celebrate this stuff together. I always think of PAX less as an expo and much more of a festival. And within that, it's the job of myself, Penny Arcade, and the rest of the ReedPop team that work on PAX to make sure that there's so much content and so much activities that are happening around the show that you'll never get the chance to actually see everything you want to see. There's just so much happening. So that's the broadest way I can explain PAX without going into specifics about what's actually going to be there, because we don't really announce much, to be honest, this far out from the show. We don't really go out of our way to say these YouTubers are going to be here or this company is going to be here, because frankly, if people are only coming to PAX for this one particular celebrity or this one particular company, they'll miss out on what PAX actually is, which is this great celebration of community, gathering.
It's celebration of everything.
I'm getting lost in my own words, and it sounds wanky, but to anyone that's been, it's such a genuine emotional connection that you actually get there with so many other people that it makes it worthwhile coming back every year.
Yeah, awesome. I've been, so that is a great way. Yeah, that is a great way to explain it though for people who aren't familiar with PAX because obviously everybody hasn't been. So there are still people who are kind of umming and ahhing about whether PAX is a thing they should go to. You should.
You should, yes. Funny enough, we actually have a bit of trouble sometimes because PAX stands for the Penny Arcade Expo, but even less people know what Penny Arcade is, sort of thing. Like, they're a massive webcomic and everything like that, but there's a lot of people that don't know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, people that might not read Penny Arcade, they're people that haven't been to PAX before. They're like, oh, what's PAX mean? Oh, Penny Arcade Expo. What's Penny Arcade mean? It's a gaming festival. Like, it's not very descriptive unless you've actually been there before and experienced it, which is probably half of the charm and appeal, that it's not so broad that it just becomes generic. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. And so you're entirely responsible, partially responsible for PAX Rising?
PAX Rising.
So PAX Rising is the indie developer area that PAX has, where they're showing off their games in development or their games that have just been released. Yeah. So with PAX Rising, what do you look for? Do you look for anything in particular each year, or do you just generally look at all the games that are coming out and kind of go, oh, this would be good in PAX, or do you kind of like try and make sure there's a nice selection or whatever else? Or
there's a significant amount of curation that goes into the PAX Rising area, and it is very focused on Australian and New Zealand developers, to be sure. Yeah. And we have certain stipulations, like in order to be in that area, you need to be a registered company. You need to have at least commercially released one title. You can't have any more than, I think it's 5 staff in your company, because if you have more than 5 people working for you full time, you know what, you're a big boy, take a big boy stand and do the right thing. The PAX Rising is specifically focused on those up and coming indie developers that are still trying to actually make their way with like innovative and crazy and risky ideas and all this kind of stuff. So I think last year we had just shy of 70 indie developers in that PAX Rising space. And what's really heartening is we did curate and create this concept at PAX Australia, but now there's PAX Rising areas at all the PAXs in North America as well. Okay. So that concept that grew here is also used in the States to actually help local developers over there as well. So yeah, it's very
PAX Australia influencing worldwide PAX.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So last thing, Gabby Borland. Are you sick of it yet, or has the joke grown old? Is it time to retire it?
Man, I was sick of it a week after it happened. What are you talking about?
There you go. No more Gabby Borland. Cut it out. Stop the Gabby Borland.
Yeah.
No more posters. No more websites. I'm sure. Stop the Facebook groups.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Shut it down.
I'm sure that's going to work. I'm sure. Yes. Now no one will do it anymore.
See, what you don't know is I'll just put Gabby Borland at the bottom of the. Yeah, I know. It'll come up with Gabby Borland. Oh. It'll start all over again.
It's fun. It's fun, right? It's fun. It's great. Yeah, thanks.
There you go. You're going to go into the annals of history as Gabby Borland.
Yes, it will be on my tombstone.
All right. I'm Matthew Lee from Pixel Pop Network, here with Yug Blomberg, the convener. PAX
Australia.
Yeah, he's from PAX Australia. Yeah. Yay! There we go. Thanks a lot, Yug. Thank you. Subscribe to the Pixel Pop Network website and YouTube channel for more content on video games and pop culture. If you like what we are doing, why not support us on Patreon?